Hey there, how you doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing great. Today we're having another pick a card, a new pick a card. This one, I'd like to be about how well you're doing, like messages from your spirit team, encouraging messages from your spirit team. That's like the groundwork. This is my basic intention. However, there are lots of messages coming through, and so I genuinely feel that we may not end up necessarily talking only about that. Like this is the base ground intention that I got going on, going into this reading. But as you may know me a little bit by now, when we start channeling, we channel what needs to be heard. And so I feel that we're going to be touching into other themes today, including your purpose and very much apparently something about grounding. So I'm very excited to see what's going to be coming up. So make yourself comfortable if you're here, make yourself at home, didn't stumble upon this video randomly. I'm very excited about that. Also, going into the future, I'd be very curious to have your feedback on that if you are part of the intro squad. I'm feeling myself gravitating away from just like classic tarot readings with the topics like what is your what's coming ahead and predictions and things like what I would personally associate to being the mainstream kind of tarot reading, because it just feels like it's resonating less and less. And each time I put an intention which is quote unquote too basic, I end up channeling messages which are completely out of topic, but which are very much needed to be heard. So I feel like honestly, the less of a hard and strict intention I put at the beginning of a reading, the better it gets. So I'd be very curious to be exploring that, and today's gonna be one of those. So that's, yeah, if you're into it, again, make yourself at home, you know the jazz already. And while you're at it, if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. That would support me a lot. And also you will happen not to miss when I post new videos like so. And so now, that being said, just before we get into like the pile selection, something caught my attention. Especially when it was like about picking up the crystals for this reading. I gravitated towards like these three crystals which are here and which are always currently, at least, almost permanently at the moment on my desk. So we're gonna be using those, which are very much in the blue hues. So that's why like the theme of purpose seems to be coming through quite a lot, and I feel like there are messages. So this is one thing. Another thing which surprised me a lot is like when I asked like which crystal would enjoy being on video, like which crystal wants to share themselves with the world, I got this 2-1 popping up, which are both connected to the root chakra about grounding. So yeah, one thing straight off the bat, if you're here, if you're part of the intro squad, because I've seen the analytics, people tend to skip the intro, so not many will get to hear this message, I feel. But one thing surely is there is a lot of grounding coming up. As I'm recording this, there's currently like a new moon in Capricorn happening, and there's a lot of grounding versus wanting to escape in our visions. There's a bit like of a uncomfortable dichotomy between third eye and root chakra, I feel. So that's gonna be a very fun reading, very interesting. I think like we're gonna open up to a lot of insights, and I'm not even 4 minutes in that I'm already so thirsty. So I feel like, yeah, a lot is about to come through. So I'm very excited about this one. By the way, for those who are wondering why I drink so much when I'm reading, I guess it's just my way of keeping the channel clear. It's like every channel does it their way. For me, somehow, when I start like channeling or energy work, I just start getting extremely thirsty. And then obviously I need to go to pee, so that's a bit inconvenient. But, but that's the thing, that's why you may be hearing me drinking so much throughout the readings. So yeah, for the piles today, our pile selection, here we go. We're gonna have 3 piles to be choosing from. We're gonna be choosing from 3 decks actually this time. We're doing things a little different. As always, I'm gonna be asking you to be tuning into your intuition so as to feel into which pile you feel the most drawn to, knowing that whichever pile you feel the most drawn to is going to be the one holding the messages you're meant to be hearing right now at this moment. Keeping in mind that if you feel drawn to more than one pile, that's okay. May just mean that there are lots of messages for you to be hearing right now, okay? That being said, for pile number 1, we got the Chalcopyrite. Yes, it is the Chalcopyrite. Had a doubt. Pile number 2, we got the Labradorite heart. Whereas pile number 3 is the Lapis Lazuli. So these are the 3 options that we got today. Once you've taken time, even pause the video if you need to, so as to choose whichever pile you feel the most drawn to, you'll be able to skip to fast forward directly to the timestamps provided down below, either in the description box, the pinned comment, likely both, so that you can fast forward directly to your timestamp, and I'm going to be seeing you there then. Hey pal number 1, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. I heard that you're having a great time, a good day, a good evening, a good night, whatever, whenever relevant. If pile 1, if you chose the Chalcopyrite, that's going to be your reading, and so we're going to get right into it. So I'm going to put it right here. We're going to start with this very deck, which I very much enjoy the colors of, and we're going to see what pops up. For you straight off the bat, since it seems to be a theme today, crystal wise, the Chalcopyrite deal with a few things, including abundance. We got the ones on the left which deal with like the earth energy, the root chakra being grounded, being rooted. And as I was shuffling and saying that, we got that popping up immediately straight off the back. I mean, they're just coming in perfectly at this point. A lot of earth energy straight off the bat in your field. And I feel definitely that for you, group number 1, it's not just about, as I was... Oh, that's so interesting. The colors match the one of the crystals so well. Oh, wow. Okay. Definitely something to say about that. As I was explaining in the intro, is like my intention for this reading is to be like pumping you up, like from your spirit team telling you how well you're doing. I, however, also mentioned that I am pretty sensing like strongly that spirits are wanting to come in hard with other forms of messages that are relevant for you right now. For you, it seems to be about right now, something that is like a phase of your life, no, it feels like too long of a time frame when said this way. More like, just feel like a moment right now that you're going through that needs to be like brought light to, so as to make it easier for you to traverse. That's how it feels. And there's definitely here this, oh, I feel this weird energy. It's like, I feel within you the desire to escape the earth plane, as in you going through a bit of a, what feels like a darker time, because like old emotions are being awoken right now. You may very well be watching this video as I'm recording this, like under this new moon, which is bringing up a lot of heavy stuff to the surface for a very good reason, for a very good point. And there's just this energy of you seeing, all of this coming up, and you're like, nope, I'd rather be out. I'd rather not be here. And so there's this kind of very ungrounded energy of denial, not necessarily the best word, but it just feels like, just not wanting to be here, like the realization, things of that kind. Some of you may resonate with that word, some of you, for you, it may be a little extreme. Cozy up with risk. And I cannot. It's like this card popped up and I'm like, I don't like it. I just want to put it back in the deck. It's like, what's going on, pile number 1? Okay, this reading is taking an unexpected turn of event, and I'm going to throw it out there. You came here for nice messages because you're not feeling necessarily your best right now. And spirits are like, we're going to make you feel good, but you feeling good isn't you denying what's going on. So it just feels like spirits are literally hijacking the reading at this point. It's like I came in with the intention, hey, we're gonna be doing a very nice and chill reading, and now the energy is very much like, nope, we're gonna do a very nice and chill reading, but the very nice and chill reading is not one that is found in denial. So we brought you here we lured you in by telling you that it was a very, very nice and cozy reading, and actually now that we got your attention, we're gonna be discussing about what needs to be discussed, honey. Okay? So it's a bit of a interesting again, it's like, oh my god, okay, yeah, there's definitely something to be talked about. There is it's like spirit is really wanting to, and I keep on saying spirit, it's like your angels, the ones which are walking with you, because right now your energy very much feels like you feel like you're not controlling that much, and so there's a lot of support coming through, which is beautiful. And it's just like, please take the time to breathe right now as you're watching this video. Deep breaths, deep breath in, holding in it, and then letting it out, like deep breaths. And if you could, for me, like keep on doing these deep breaths throughout the reading, that would be lovely. Like bringing down a little bit the nervous system. There are so many cards that deal with coming back to earth, create earth, getting back to elemental, stop dropping around. It's like, it's very much the earth energy, the invitation to be on earth. And yet, like these red frequencies that we got here on the left, this crystal, it feels like it's bugging so much. It's like, I don't want that. Please pull it out of the frame. I don't like it. It feels like something which is very, very uncomfortable. Reason to why you don't want to start dropping ground. You'd rather keep on distracting yourself, doom scrolling, and lose yourself to your imagination, things like that. And first of all, I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with that inherently. It's understandable. However, Spirit is really wanting to bring your attention to the fact that something is going on. Okay? It's like, yes, obviously, if you're feeling this way, there's probably something going on. You're being asked not to be in denial about it. Because, and I'm going to be bringing the tarot cards after, but I just feel like it's not necessarily all that useful right now. The message is coming in by itself. It's like, the reasons why you're wanting not to be here, present, is because there are some very uncomfortable emotions that you're experiencing right now. Somehow it doesn't feel safe to be on Earth. You could typically be the kind of person who has a very easy time sensing others. You could definitely be my hypersensitive, the person who has no problem being a chameleon, perceiving others like having a huge ass open third eye. Like, you have no problem investing yourself in these higher frequencies, which are about perception. Yeah, the third eye, like perceiving the environment, sensing everything, just because it doesn't feel safe to be here down low. It feels much safer to be high up. And it could very well be the case that in your life, it may have been a bit of a struggle in the past, being here, being present, being in these lower frequencies, the reds, being grounded, being here on Earth, because you have a terrible association with that. And I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry for that. It's like there is I'm picking up on the timeline now. It's like you have a terrible association with the earth energy, and right now I'm not saying anything new. You already know these things. This is just a confirmation at this point for you to feel seen, understood, and heard, for you to know that no, the universe is not deaf. Of course not. It's like, of course you are heard. Of course the universe, your guides, your angels, those walking with you, know very much what you're experiencing. What I'm feeling is very much like this strong uncomfort to be here and present. It's like there is a very nasty association between being here on Earth and feeling safe, or especially lack of safety. That's how it feels like here. It's like it feels so unsafe to be here that I'd rather just deny the fact that I'm existing here. Okay, that one's getting deep already. And so, and there's a lot of distorted messages. A lot of distorted messaging is like there are a lot of very encouraging things, a lot of beautiful, inspiring things which are going on all around you that are more triggering than anything else because of this association. It's like, I'm getting an example. Imagine someone in the past was traumatized because, I don't know, they saw perhaps like they were in the forest and they saw a hunter killing a bird in front of them, and it was so horrible for them, and it just so happened under a rainbow. Rainbow are beautiful, but guess what? Now this person, each time they see a rainbow, they think about this murder, quote unquote. It's like, it's about association. That's the kind of thing I'm getting here. It's like you feeling so unsafe being here for very understandable reasons. But the message here is the reason to why you are led to go through it again, to explore these emotions once again, is because fundamentally your association is flawed. And it's not to say that you made a wrong association and a bad thing. It means nothing bad about you. There's no guilt, there's no shame here. It's just understanding that to go through whatever started all of this, you assumed something, which is obviously untrue. Each time we go through difficult experiences that we feel like we cannot really handle well, we start coping with them. And one of the first coping mechanisms is to be normalizing that which we feel very uncomfortable in. And one beautiful way to normalize it is to make up a belief, a truth that we will believe wholeheartedly that explains why this thing goes this way, although it may very well not be true. It's just that believing this way makes us feel like more in control, makes us feel less pain. It's one of the first coping mechanisms that everyone puts up when going through a difficult experience. And yeah, there's definitely this energy. A few words on this before we move on to the tarot cards, because I'm really wanting to... I just feel like there is a lot more to say. Like the color association is just so beautiful because it's a very metallic stone. Yeah, even on camera you can see like the glance, like how it reflects the light. It's a metallic stone, and these colors are very much that. It's very much the same colors that we got here. So I just find it fascinating. Rise, limitation, inspire, innovation is like the reasons why you're going through this experience, and that's what Spirit needs you to hear. That's why Spirit wanted to catch your attention through this one, baiting you with another thing. Is that what is you feel that there is this sensation of unsafety and this desire not to be here. The truth isn't that you desire not to be here. The truth is you're done with feeling unsafe. But you can feel safe and enjoy the heck of your life being here. Sounds obvious when said out loud, but it's something that needs to be said out loud. That's the association. Being here means being unsafe. It's very understandable, and it's like if that is the way you're feeling and that you've been feeling lately, it is because there's a reason. Spirit wants you to understand that as obvious and understandable and logical it is, being honest with oneself, it's not true. That's why you're being brought to experience them again for the sake of rising, going beyond, realizing that no, you can have it all. There is much more to this story. However, it will only be revealed once you allow yourself to see it. That's why these difficult emotions are coming up and they're not going anywhere. Phew. What else, Spirit? Now that you've baited us onto that, It's like the only thing you desire is very much the Nine of Cups is very much like, oh, so many cups. You're just wanting to be comfortable, to just see your dreams come true. You're wanting the love, you're wanting the light, you're wanting the comfort, you're wanting the safety, you're wanting your needs to be met, you're wanting to receive, you're just wanting to open up to the world. And it's like, that is a normal human desire. That is just such a normal human desire. And here again, it's like you are releasing. I just feel that the reason to why this started is going to be different for every Pound1 viewer. But what's going on right now is that there has been some withdrawal to process these emotions. There is a lot of releasing, a lot of grieving these emotions, so as to see the truth that was underneath. Because that's very much what I'm feeling right now, is the whole point of this process is for you to find the truth. And in order to find the truth, you will have to remove the assumption, a very understandable assumption that you made that kept you safe, but which is no longer beneficial. Yeah, breaking free, celebrating. It's just like you're breaking free from an old way of viewing the world, an old painful way of viewing the world. There's something which is wanting to come through, which is making itself very well hidden. It almost feels like there is a what's going on with this Queen of Cups? There is this desire for you to be living your life based off your intuition and your heart, and letting your heart be your guide. You're not wanting to think your way through life. That's what I'm getting here. There's nothing wrong with thinking your way through life, but you know that it's just not aligned with who you are. That's just not true to you. But it almost feels like if you want to feel safe, you have to do... There is this association of safety means having to do something which is not aligned with who you are. And that sends you on a loop when it comes to negative emotions. Because now all of a sudden, if I'm convinced and firmly convinced that the only way for me to be safe is to be doing something that I don't want to do, then I'd rather not do anything at all. I'd rather not be here. That's how it feels. But on the other side, what I see is the truth, which is that you are a deeply intuitive person, that you're actually very anchored person. Like, you're a very grounded person, ironically, because that may not be the experience right now, but at heart, you're a very grounded person. You're very, like, happy to be exploring life on Earth, you know? And you're definitely someone who has a very strong relationship with their heart's guidance. You have no problem listening to where is your heart guiding you, but there is this mental clutter of not trusting the heart. And I've been told that if I wanted to be saved, then I needed to do this, this, and that, and my heart is guiding me in another direction. It feels like, yeah, like a lot of mental clutter. It's like, at heart, your truth is that this is the way you're meant to be living your life. It's in a way which feels much simpler. It's like, it's simple. You don't have to figure it out. You just have to follow the guidance. The guidance that comes from the you, the spirit you, the you in soul that already knows the answers. Just letting yourself be guided through the process instead of having to figure it all out. Letting your intuition, your inner world, guide you even in the dark. That is powerful, by the way. Because it matters not what people around you think. You know where you need to go. So that is a very powerful stance, and one which comes with, like, shaking such a heavy weight off of your shoulders, because all of a sudden you realize that no, you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to make it happen. Making it happen, having to figure it out, having to do it in such an unaligned manner is just resistance. It just brings illness. It just brings sickness. It just brings not so happy feelings about yourself, about your life. it just sends people on a dark loop, and it's like this is something you're aware of just looking at around your, just looking around at the people who have chosen to live their life the way that you wish not to. It doesn't take a genius to see that it doesn't really work. But why are they doing that? Because they firmly believe that's the only way. That's what you're getting out of. But getting out of this illusion, getting out of this lie, is not by denying it all, is not by forgetting it all. Getting out of this illusion of this lie is through seeing it. You see the lie for what it is, and the pain that comes with it. It's easier said this way. The pain that comes with this lie, the pain that led you into, that led this past version of you into wanting to make up this lie. In seeing it all, you realize that no, it actually was not true. It was what happened. It was none of your making. You were not responsible of that. You didn't choose that. You didn't control that. But fundamentally, this thing that you've been carrying around is a lie. It is not true, and it needs to be said clearly. It is not true. You may not have had much experience about what is true then. Sure. The first step is to realize that the way you've been doing it is not true. That's why it didn't feel good. Whew. That's a big message in and of itself. But yeah, I genuinely feel that this is important. You know, it feels like in your frequency, it feels like, oh my God, the world hates me, and why is this happening to me? It's not to mess with you, it's because you need to see and experience and revisit these old memories of yours, these old feelings, so as to come to the bottom of it. It's like, what happened? And you will see that it was a lie. A lie that protected you for a long time, but it's still a lie. And it's not going to bring you any further. And the powerful stance that comes from the truth underneath is well worth it. We got Rise. So Rise, and as we were discussing before, like Chalcopyrite, is a stone of abundance. Is a stone, when you go to your metaphysical shop, your new age shop, and you say, I want a stone for lots of money. What do they give you? Pyrite, Chalcopyrite. Straight up, this is like the first stones that the shop owner would think about. So it's like a lot of the abundance that you've been seeking is coming to you, but the reason why it hasn't come to you is because if it did come to you before, you would have never gone through that. You would have never explored this lie. The abundance will come to you in ways that you didn't even know were possible. And it will come in surprising huge amounts, in surprisingly large quantities. And you will realize, oh, wait a minute. What happened? I went from feeling poor to having so much. Like, what happened? Your abundance is not meant to come to you in untruthful manners. Your abundance is not meant to come to you in ways which are not genuine, which do not resonate. Your abundance will not come to you through sickness. I'm sorry, but burning yourself out, harming yourself, will not make you feel good, will not make you abundant. Sounds stupid when you say it out loud, but it needs to be said, you know? So that's the thing. And I genuinely feel that it's like your life will change in such a dramatic way. And by dramatic, I don't mean in a negative way. I just mean such a surprisingly powerful way. It's like from night to day, from black to white. It's like things are going to shift around in such a 360 degrees. It feels like a U-turn. It feels like it has nothing to do with what was going on before. Why? Because you have taken the time to purge out a lie that was at the root of many of your perceptions and beliefs about life. And once you realize that this was not true and that the truth feels much better, well, first of all, there's no going back, and second of all, well, you have effectively opened the doors to receiving, to the abundance. So that is beautiful. But that's very much why this is going on. It's like, keep on going, you warrior, because you got this. And the whole point of why you're going through this is not for you to feel bad, it's for you to bring in the justice in your life and to say this, what has happened and the way I feel as a result is unfair, and it's okay for you to feel the anger, for you to feel like it's unfair because it was arguably, and for you to realize that no, this is a big lie, a big fat lie, a big fat lie that arguably most of us may be believing today. That's okay, not you. You ain't got no time to be wasting here. You know the truth. Why would you be wasting your time playing small when you already know how big you are and how much you can receive? I'm telling you, you will not believe it until it happens. But the amount of wealth and abundance which is entering your life will blow your mind. It will literally blow your mind. And I know you will not believe me until you experience it. So it's like, either come back to this video once it happens, or just is like, I don't care if you remind yourself that I came from here, or if you have completely forgotten about me the day it happens. What is going on is that it will blow your mind, and you will understand the full meaning of that, is that no, it was just a simple lie that was in the way, but oh my god, did this lie had a huge impact over your life. If you believe that the only way for you to be abundant, to be able to survive and to be safe and to meet your needs on this world is forcing yourself to be sick and unwell, yes, arguably you're not going to go very far. Find your sacred flow. It's like, it's very much you finding who you are. What we got going on here? Welcome to the Divine Masculine, Raw Intention, Bravely Magic. I feel like there's already been a lot of message and a lot of downloads happening already. So we're gonna wrap it up with these 3 last cards. But yeah, welcome to the Divine Masculine. It just feels like you finally accepting to develop a better relationship with the masculine. As in allowing yourself to feel safe, allowing yourself to feel supported, taken care of, allowing yourself these things because you end up realizing that this is what's been going on since the day you were born, actually. It's just allowing it to happen, being okay with it happening already, you know. Right intention and very much imagine. And I just feel that there's going to be so much through this process, through you opening up. It feels like you both opening up to a feminine, to your inner feminine, to your inner masculine, you being okay, allowing yourself to relax, being okay, allowing yourself to receive, you being okay, being okay, being supported, being okay, being protected. And that's just gonna it's gonna open the floodgates of abundance for one, but it's also gonna like bring so much more vigor and energy in your life, so much more passion and desire and just thrilled to live. And this idea of being ungrounded and not wanting to be here is going to be an old story by then. So I'm very, very happy, very glad that you found this video. I really do hope that it was beneficial for you. You came to this video, I feel like, just wanting to alleviate a bit of pain, and I genuinely feel that by now you may be understanding a little more clearly what's going on. So again, I genuinely hope that it was helpful, beneficial, that it helped you taking a little bit the edge off, understanding that no, this is not all dark. No, it's not just everything crumbling down and going backwards, and it's not the end of the world. There's a purpose in that, and it's acting in your best interest, okay? So rest assured. And keep on doing these deep breaths, okay? Thank you so much for having shared space with me today. That was very deep reading, to say the least. Please let me know down in the comments if it resonated. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to know. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're staying safe. And yeah, please like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. And I'm going to be seeing you in my next video. Till then, take care, okay? And have a good year. Bye. Hey, pal number 2. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. I'm very excited about the messages which are going to be coming through. If pal number 2, if you chose the Labradorite heart, that's going to be a reading, and so I'm going to get right into it. Question which was, not a question actually, the intention that was like messages, encouraging messages from your team, your angels, your guides, whomever. Lots of birds, eh? Oop, and this one literally flew in my arms. Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's an interesting one actually. I feel that you've been putting in the work to you've been like, it feels like you've been decluttering a little bit that closet out of old stuff. I feel that you've been decluttering your closet, perhaps physically, but especially mentally, with old beliefs that were outdated, like old beliefs that were not serving you and which felt like they were limiting you. And now you've opened up to a what feels like a new chapter of your life. I'm saying it loosely because it sounds like, oh my god, it's so big, and no. It's just like, no, you're just done with what was going on before. It's like you've outgrown the current circumstances, like what used to be going on, the people that were there, your life, your identities. It's like all of that, that's past, that's gone, that's old stories, and now you're just in a brand new perspective. It feels optimistic. It feels very innocent in a sense, very pure. It feels new. It feels exciting in a way. It feels like a leap of faith. It feels like, ugh, I'm sorry, I was yawning. Feels like a leap of faith. Feels like, yeah, it just feels like walking in the dark with the owl spirit, especially. The owl sees very well in the dark. You know, it's like going through. It just feels like you having a mission, you having a desire, you just feeling like there is something which is compelling you. You feel a calling, you feel that something's going on. You cannot quite pinpoint exactly what it is because perhaps a little bit is still hidden away. Some of it is outside of the realm of what you're capable of deeming as possible just yet. Do you know, it's like it feels very good, it feels very compelling, it feels very exciting, but you don't fully know what it is. I'm sorry, I'm yawning so much. What's going on? And with the owl spirit, I feel this idea of just you being like, you know what? At this point where I'm at, after what's been going on in my life, I feel like I don't have anything to lose. So I'm just gonna go for it. That's what it feels like. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna walk the path which I know that my heart is calling me in this direction. I know this is what I feel the most compelled to do. I know that this is what I need to be doing. And so I'm just gonna do it. Although I don't fully know why just yet. It's like this idea of I know that this is the direction in which I need to be walking, but I have no clue what's the destination just yet. But it kind of feels like at this point I don't have anything to lose, so might as well. And there's the sense of walking in the dark, not understanding why we're following this already. Although we know that this is where we're meant to go, we don't understand just yet why. And so yeah, it's like going in the dark, but there's also this idea of being guided, being supported. There are powerful forces behind you at work which are guiding and supporting and protecting and blessing every step that you make. With the crowd too, I feel this sense of like there are so many guides, so many beings of light and of love which are assisting and walking with you 24/7, you know? It's like it's such a I'm hearing it's such a blessing to be the ones to be providing for you, to be protecting you. Is like it's such a pleasure to be providing for you and supporting you. And so you're guided, you are being led. It just feels like you've just started a whole new journey, one which you don't fully understand, but one which is not something that you have seen really before. It's like you do not have any points of reference. That's what it feels like. And so yeah, there is this sense of just there is this faith within of, I just choose to believe that if that's what I feel like I need to do, then there's a reason. And you're damn right. But it's just also like the fact we got two birds, one black, one white. It just feels like you're in such powerful and such good hands, honestly. And I'm so glad to see that, honestly. With the starfish, also I'm getting this sensation that what you're opening up to and what the quote unquote destination looks like is something which is outside of your mind realm. Again, it's like some of you may have tried to like visualize and to say that, okay, but what would my goal be? I have a rough idea of that which I think belongs there. Why can't I stop yawning? That wasn't happening with group number one. Something is wanting to come through the throat or what? I guess we'll see. It's like you have a rough ideas of perhaps some elements that you think may belong to where you're going, but you're not actually sure. And I just feel that the amount of good stuff which is going on there just because of you daring to follow your heart, honestly, daring to follow where you're meant to go, is not necessarily something that your mind may be able to contain right now. Your mind may not be stretched enough to be able to conceive and conceptualize such things. And thus, I feel that it's going to be surprising, but that also gives me an explanation so as to why you feel like you're walking in the dark. The only reason to why you feel like you're walking in the dark is because there's no light. There is no consciousness. There is no awareness. You don't know what's going on. If you were to know, you would see. But since where you're going is quote unquote so good, because that's what it feels like to your mind, what it looks like to your mind rather, your mind doesn't feel. Since it's so different and so much better than what you have experienced so far, it's like your mind struggles to see through that. It's like it doesn't see, doesn't understand. That's why it feels like I'm just having this picture in my mind's eye of just like someone walking in the forest on a path at night. So it's like, I don't know, I can see, thanks to the moon, thanks to the stars, I can see the path like a few meters ahead of where I'm walking, you know? But I do not see what's in front of me. I just see like the path right in front of my feet. That's it. And that's enough, really. And you're just going with that. And honestly, there's so much pride from your team just on that. It's like you daring, funny this card popped up, like you daring to follow your heart, although your mind wouldn't have any reasons to. Just you daring to follow the path, even if it's in the middle of the night. Is there something that your guides deem as worth celebrating? It's just, I feel actually that there's a story behind it. It's like what I'm getting right here was a bit of like, I'm getting a bit more context. Like it just feels like in your life somehow it's a very big thing actually. It's like, yes, it's a bit of a leap of faith, but there is much that has been leading up to this point. I'm sensing it's like this may have been the result of years of introspection. I just feel like there's a lot that has been going into it actually, to the point where it's like, you know what, ain't got anything to lose at this point. But I do feel what's going on in my heart, so I may as well go with it. There's like so much pride from your guys, which are like, this is the best decision of your life by far. And you don't even realize it just yet. That's okay. Your mind may not be able to perceive it at the moment. That's totally okay. But soon enough you'll see, and you'll be glad that you did it. Okay, tarot. I said that this card was very funny because as I was shuffling and refreshing the tarot deck from pile number 1 to pile number 2, I only got like one tarot deck currently. So from one reading to another, I just shuffle it to refresh the energy. As I was shuffling it, this card popped up. Obviously, I put it back in so as to keep on shuffling, but it's funny to me that it popped up so clearly and then it popped up again. It's like, no, this card really was meant to be here. And it just feels like it's a rebirth in a way. It feels how would I describe this energy? It feels so simple, and it feels like it exists out of time. It's like a lot of things have been going on in your life to come up to this point. It's like this isn't something which has happened overnight. This decision of walking on this path, as obscure as it may be, didn't come like in a split second. There's been much history behind that. And yet, right now, as you have started to walk on this path, it just feels like it doesn't matter anymore. You may as well be a newborn, because all that happened before brought you much, but there's a sense of being completely detached from it. It just feels like starting brand new without any luggage, without anything on our shoulders, without carrying anything. For some of you, it may literally be like moving to a new city with no furniture. You know, that could be a very, a very like obvious manifestation of that. That's kind of the energy I'm getting, is like moving to something different that we do not just yet see what it is, but with such a pure, innocent, and light energy, we're not carrying anything really into the new. We're not carrying anything with us. So that is very, very interesting, very fascinating. It just feels like being in the pit of creation, being at the beginning of something new, where anything is possible, really, because we have so little expectation because of the fact that we are plunged in the dark. It's like we are in the freaking middle of the dark. We do not see anything. And as such, we're not expecting that much. Because of the absence of expectations, because of the absence of the limits that the mind would have, well, infinite possibilities. It's like the doors to something so much better are wide open. Five of Pentacles, again, this sensation of you're not, it's like there's nothing left for you in your past. There isn't anything left for you to explore, to get, to gather, to hoard, to experience in what you're letting behind. It's like you're letting behind like an old version of you, which has an old identity, with an old life, with old friendships, perhaps an old family. It's like all of that no longer matters. It feels like a true step up, but honestly also like a powerful reset. A reset into a new life, a new timeline, which is of a much higher frequency, one which is much more aligned with who we are. And we ain't carrying much with us into the new. It's like we're leaving it all behind. Anyways, there isn't a lot worth bringing with us in what's behind. So it's just such an innocent, such a pure, such a light energy. I just find it so beautiful, so comforting, because there's also this profound sense of optimism. It's like somehow I just know that everything's going to be all right, because I just know that this is what I came here for. This is the whole point to why I came here for. I just get that this path that you're on, what you're currently starting to do, these little inspirations left and right, you just feeling excited about random stuff. Oh, I just feel so excited about talking to this person I've just met. I have no clue to why. Oh, I just feel excited about going to this new place. Oh, I feel excited about doing this or that. It's like forms of excitement that do not necessarily make sense, new interests, and it's just all leading up to something very powerful. And I just feel like there is something related to your purpose in there. Somehow there's something that which, it just feels like someone walking in the dark, and by morning they will realize that the path they were walking with led them to the most beautiful place they could have ever dreamt of, honestly. But because it was dark, they couldn't see it from far away. But there is such knowing that of a yes, that's so good. On behalf of your spirit guides, it's like we're so happy that you got to walk this path, because oh my god, yes, it's dark so you don't see it coming, but oh my god, that is so cool. Five of Wands, King of Cups. It just feels like for one there's no longer any fighting. I'm hearing. Some of you may have been feeling like they had to fight for one or multiple reasons, for different reasons. For some of you, it may have felt like fighting for your worth, fighting for recognition, fighting for for safety, fighting for your needs as a general, fighting for a over a relationship, fighting for this, fighting for that, and like all of a sudden, King of Cups is like, there's no fighting. There is no fighting because I just don't resonate with that frequency anymore. It's like fighting doesn't make any sense anymore. It's just stepping into a new state of being where fighting this war, this fear, this scarcity that we have also with the Five of Pentacles, it just doesn't make sense anymore. It makes sense in lower frequencies. It is a reality in lower frequencies. But here, now that we have become this, it's like, it almost feels like something completely foreign. Fighting over something. Why? Why would you do that? I don't get it. And there's a strong, powerful sense of peace, and also a powerful sense of like one knowing themselves, self-awareness coming through. It just feels like being in such a peaceful state because we have come to discover the truth of who we are, and so now it's like we just know our truth. There is infinite confidence emanating from the depth of us because we just know who we are. Yeah, that is so beautiful. And also, like, the Five of Wands is just inspiring this idea of like having a prize, having discovered something so beautiful. Is like as if at the end of this road there was like the rock with the sword, there was Excalibur, you know, and that by morning you'll see that this is by morning, as soon as there is enough light, as soon as the sun goes up enough for you to be able to see a little bit of what's going on, boom, you're in front of the Excalibur. It's like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. It feels whimsical, it feels enchanted. Whereas the world that you're living on is the same. It's just you have stepped into a whole new frequency, into a whole new state of embodiment, a whole new you. It's so beautiful. I genuinely feel that the reason why I'm yawning so much is because it feels like such a peaceful period of your life after such an intense ones. There may have been a lot of intensity in the past, I'm feeling. And now that things are flowing so much more smoothly and everything's going easier because we're in a whole new perspective. It's like our polarity, it just doesn't make sense to the mind, honestly. That's one of the reasons why it feels so dark. Is like, how do you explain to the mind the idea that all of a sudden fighting doesn't make any sense anymore? That all of a sudden scarcity has disappeared? It's like the mind is like, what the heck are you talking about? What did you do? It's like, did you find the perfect job to bring about the money? It's like, no, you have just you have changed your state of embodiment. You have changed your frequency. That's very scientific if you study it. Most of us don't because it's still like very new age kind of, I mean, it's very, very new for science to be starting to explore the electromagnetic, like humans' electromagnetic field and things like that, you know. That I stumbled upon a study where they were like, I think it was in Germany, where they isolated up to 250,000 people one at a time in a room that was completely isolated from any waves, radio waves, 5G, Wi-Fi, everything. And in there, they were able to measure the electromagnetic field, and they were able, funnily enough, by the end of the experiment, they were able to just by measuring the electromagnetic field of a person, they were able to tell exactly to the person how they were feeling. And not just like an overall emotion, oh, you're joyful, or you're sad. It was no, they were able to fine-tune the nuance of the emotion they were experiencing, exactly what it was they were experiencing. That's crazy. Science is catching up. But still, in our reality life, in our real reality life, what the heck does it mean? In our reality, perhaps that's not what our mind is used to. That may not be what our mind were like. Perhaps we didn't grow up with this kind of scientific in this kind of scientific environment. Perhaps we didn't grow up around scientific people who were into this kind of thing. So perhaps these are things that do not make sense. So when you say the mind, oh yeah, you have completely shifted your state of being, your frequency, by virtue of discovering the truth behind of the illusionary lies that you were believing in, it doesn't make any sense to the mind. So you're like, oh yeah, I'm walking on a path that feels very dark because I don't understand a thing. Is very understandable that you wouldn't understand a thing, but it just is. It will make sense. Your mind will catch up, but that's one of the reasons why it doesn't make sense today. And why it feels so magical and whimsical. I just get this incomprehension of the mind. It's like, what the heck is going on? It feels so good, but I don't even understand what I did to get there. Oh, you did much, and you know this. What you did is that you have let go of a lot of pain, a lot of illusions, and you remembered yourself. Straight up. So that is beautiful. I'm gonna cover up this card because I feel like it's not, the imagery is not relevant to the overall frequency that we have been exploring. But yeah, it's hard to put it into words what I'm perceiving of your frequency, but it's not optimistic, it's not hopeful, it's just the knowing. It's like, I do not believe, I'm not optimistic about about the fact that things will be good. I'm not optimistic about the fact that everything will be all right and good things are coming where I know it. It's just an unshakable core knowing. There is no faith when there is knowing. It's exactly like, I don't know, explaining to your mind, oh yeah, actually if you change your state of being through changing what you believe in, your frequency changes and your world reflects it, versus actually diving into the study and to see, oh yeah, by the way, the human field has an electromagnetic field which is developed by the heart mainly, but also the mind, also the gut, mainly the heart though. It's by far mainly the heart. And that electromagnetic field we have discovered in quantum sciences, well, what you observe is what you see. That's why it's such a nightmare to be studying quantum sciences nowadays, is because it just defies all previous logic. It's like, if you want this to be a particle, it is going to show up as a particle. If you want to see it as a wavelength, as a wave, as energy, it will show up as energy. You put that with the fact that we're capable of measuring, your mind will go, oh my god, that's just science. It's like, whether you want it to be science or spirituality, whatever permission slip is needed for your mind to get on board, it's like there is this knowing that good things are happening, and this sense of just magic. It just feels magical and whimsical, like unicorns and butterflies, which is beautiful. It feels so innocent and like good things which feel too good to be true to most. So yeah, that is a beautiful, very promising reading, to say the least. And again, very proud that you decided to take the leap of faith. So yeah, thank you so much for having shared space with me today. That was a lovely reading, a very interesting one, very unique one to say the least. Please let me know down in the comments how it went for you, if it resonated. I'd love to know. I'd love to read about this. I'd love to be connecting with you. That being said, I wish you the absolute best, especially on this new journey that you've entered. And I'm going to be seeing you in my next video. Till then, take care, have a good time, and Happy New Year. Hey, pond number 3, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. I hope you're excited about this new year. I hope that you're curious about these messages. So far, we've been some very interesting messages, to say the least, with the 2 previous groups. If pond number 3 you chose the Lapis Lazuli, we're going to get into it right now. Fair disclaimer, the 2 past groups have been very intense energy-wise, so I'm going to take this one a little slower, okay? Because, you know, I'm not a machine. So we're going to start with this deck. And yeah, we're gonna see this deck straight off the bat, like, this deck is my OG deck. Is a deck that I don't use all that often because it has a very profound energy and it feels unkind to be overusing it, honestly. So when it does pop up, I'm very happy. I'm very glad because its energy is so delicious. We got lots of roots coming up. Num 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 num. Maybe a third one. Yep. So what do we have here? Encouraging messages from your team. Oh, we got two actually. I was trying to put one, but back of the deck energy, we got passion. I'm gonna leave it off screen for now, but I'm keeping it where I can see it in case it may end up being relevant. Okay, we got a few energies to be discussing about. First of all, first thing I picked up on, like, the roots. There are many roots on these cards, to say the least. Strength, Ancestors. I got the Weaver, the Void, Compassion is back of the deck. I'm hearing Shaman. I don't know if you guys, pile number 3, you may be my energy worker kind of pile. There is some definitely connection to the earth and some energy worker kind of stuff happening here in pile number 3. That's why, like, the first, like, the crossing of these two ideas, the first word that popped up to mind was like shaman. Someone who works with the earth and who works with energy. Obviously, that's not the only form of that exists, you know. Is like, some of you may be identifying as witches, some of you just as, you know, like natural therapists of any kind, working with plants. It's this kind of energy worker of healing, being rooted, and working with the earth specifically, both with earth and the energies around. There's also the theme of healing going on. If that resonates, that's definitely your pile. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. Very self-aware kind of energy also. So that's cool. I'm feeling, okay, the energy I'm getting for pile number 3 is completely different than anything. It's like the two previous piles I was getting something which was very much on brand with the collective. For you, it's like, nope, we're gonna have to be talking about something completely different. But sure. But it does make sense because it feels like you're very self-aware. It's like, I'm gonna say, it's like a lot of the things which are going on collectively, theme-wise, it feels like you already know. It's like you've already learned many of these lessons, so you're kind of your own timing, doing your own stuff. That's what I'm getting. And for you, there's this theme of reconnecting with ancestors, and in a particular way, it's like, it feels like either one of your gifts that you're using currently is about to deepen, or you are unlocking new gifts, or both, why the heck not, through ancestry. It's like something that people were good in your family. It's like strength, quite literally, strength which have been passed down from generation to generation. And it could very well be dealing with magical shenanigans and energy worker stuff, like witches and shamans and things of like that, you know. It's like, also with the depiction of the woman, it's like typically someone here could be part of a family where nearly every woman was a witch of a kind, a shaman. I don't have many more words to describe it coming to mind. A Wicca, whatever. And it just feels like, yeah, you unlocking either a next level or a brand new gift, something new, something opening up, which feels very much related to the earth. So I wouldn't be surprised if you end up like growing your own plants, which I know for someone is going to be like, I like the idea, but no thank you. And I'm like, you would be surprised, actually. You would be surprised of what may be happening. But it just feels like, yeah, getting access to a brand new thing within you, almost like a gift that was there, which has been passed down through your roots by your ancestors. Something which is awakening now, because now seems to be the time for it to come up online. So that is very, very cool. So yeah, I'm thinking, the more I'm thinking about it, uh, that very much deals with, I mean, whenever I see a skull, I think shaman. Don't ask me why. That I have like, I don't know much about this world, about shamanism, and that, I guess that's like my first prejudice to say that shaman. Oh, skull. Probably not, but you know, that's that's the first thing that pops to mind. Compassion. It's like, I get this idea of a healer. Here again, perhaps it may be part of your practice. Some of you may very much be dedicating their career to that, or their hobby. Like one of your hobbies could be about being an energy worker and like being a Reiki master or something like that, like healing focused. But also more generally, for some of you, it may just be like, just by virtue of you being here on this world, you know, is like you happen to be healing people just by virtue of being in their vicinity. There's this kind of healer energy, whether you're acting on it or not. That's what I'm getting at. And that is something interesting, because it just feels like the focus is being redirected onto that. It's like some of these things you already know, some of these things you may be like, oh yeah, I guess that sounds fair. But it just feels like, yeah, it's just time for you are noticing your focus being redirected onto this direction, because it's just time for you to be awakening to something new within you. Fun. Interesting, to say the least. The Weaver and the Void. Well, these cards are interesting. There is this... I do get this kind of energy that this upcoming year you are like creating something brand new for you. One which may be very aligned with what's coming up. It's like... almost feels... I'm almost getting the energy of like a Saturn retrograde. If you know what it is in astrology. Which is very much like, you know, when we say that people have their midlife crisis, you know, not everyone has a midlife crisis, but those of us who have been living a life not very caring about whether it was pleasant or not caring on whether it was aligned or not, are very susceptible to going through a midlife crisis, which is just a moment of realization of, oh God, actually, I would love my life to be completely different, and I'm realizing now that I've been living my life in a completely unaligned way. And for me, I do not see a midlife crisis, but I do get this energy of a coming back to your roots, coming back to who you are and what you are here for. And as such, this year may be for you a year of big transformation and realignment, although I feel that it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. I mean, I say that loosely because, you know, these years tend to be a little intense lately, but but it feels like pretty smooth sailing. It doesn't feel like a life crisis, but that's like the energy of a certain return I'm getting, I'm tuning into right now, of just, yeah, realigning your life with what matters most to you, discovering these, like accessing this new layer of understanding of yourself, if it makes sense. So yeah, the Weaver very much makes me feel like someone who's creating their life. In this case, yeah, realigning with something that you've just discovered. And the Void. That's an interesting card. There's a deep calling for spirituality, meditation. What am I getting right now? That's fun, because the more I tune into this card, and the more I just feel myself breathing. It just feels like a deep meditative state, a deep calm state. So perhaps this is something that may be entering your life much, 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 much more. Just embracing a meditative state. Not necessarily, I mean, for most, it may actually look like meditating, the act of meditating. But what I'm getting here is the state of being meditative, as in being in the now, aware of what you're experiencing, what you're doing in meditation, but just as you're walking, if it makes sense. Meditation as a lifestyle, not necessarily just as an act or a practice. So it's another thing is like tuning within, being present with yourself, being in touch with your source. It feels very relaxing, to say the least. I think I already said at the beginning of the reading part number 3, but it's like your energy after the 2 first piles feels like just coming off calmly after some intense readings. Like energy was, pile number 2 was not like super intense, but the energy was still like very present. But here is just like hearing oneself breathing, which feels very meditative in and of itself. It's like just appreciating the silence, appreciating hearing yourself breathing. So you could be gravitating towards a much more like calm lifestyle. I could very well see you, that's just one example, but I could very well see you like just moving from a busy city into the countryside, starting growing your own food, having your own practice, which could be about like woohoo shenanigans, like energy healing, cool witch stuff, or things of that, like embracing this shamanic side of yours, something which have maybe been running in your family for a while, and just embracing a much slower lifestyle, one which is much more in tune with yourself, with who you are, with your breath, one which is much more focused on to being rather than doing. So that is a very, very interesting, fascinating thing. First time I make a reading like that, and I'm not surprised that it's happening with this deck. Told you. I'll say that, I told you. Definitely gonna be facilitated, like these transitions are going to be facilitated with this 3 of Pentacles. Oh, a few interesting messages actually. Yeah, it's like I'm not getting the message at all with this back of the deck energy, like 5 of Swords. I'm not getting the 5 of Swords meaning at all out of this card. I'm very much getting the imagery, like working in the fields. That very may not be what you're looking for, so don't take it like literally. But I'm getting this energy of being closer to the land and just yearning to go for a much slower lifestyle. Perhaps for you, a slower lifestyle doesn't mean at all moving to the countryside, okay? Don't get me wrong. For some of you, very well maybe a much slower lifestyle when we are just enjoying taking our time. There's definitely going to be a lot of support through this transition. I just feel like this is, you will, or you already are, for most of you, realizing, awakening to this, like to this new layer of who you are, of these new gifts, of this, just this new, embodying this new comprehension of who you are, this deeper comprehension of who you are, and noticing that, yeah, some adjustments will be necessary for you to just fully sink into who you are. And I just feel like it's just gonna come on a silver platter for you to see it. It's like, it's gonna be greatly facilitated. Back to the smooth sailing I was tuning into earlier, it's like, the opportunities are just gonna be there. It's like, oh, by the way, I've noticed, like, I've met you, I know we've known each other for a while, but I've never told you. I actually wanted to, I actually have a home in the countryside that I've been meaning to sell for like so long, and I've put the price down like so much, and honestly at this point I'm just wanting to just give it because I cannot be bothered to keep it anymore. I just want to get rid of this home, and I heard you that you wanted to move to countryside, so you know what, there you go. And you'll be like, thank you. I just feel this kind of things, like just it being brought on a silver platter through very funny and unexpected synchronicities, and just your life naturally redirecting towards what feels much more aligned. Just a life where you hear yourself breathing, a life of being more than doing. There's a lot more stillness, and yeah, a lot more stillness. So it's interesting. Seven of Pentacles. Here again, I got this idea with the imageries. Yet again, I get this idea of being close to nature and perhaps working with nature. So that is definitely a theme for some of you, not necessarily for all. But Seven of Pentacles, there's this idea of investing in the future. I feel that you making these moves this year and taking the time to realign, taking the opportunity of this year to realign your entire life perhaps onto something that feels so much more fulfilling, so much better, just as if you were going through a Saturn return, which very well may be the case, I don't know. It just feels like it's a great investment for your future too, as in this is going to be a very powerful, strong platform for, yeah, to support you in the future. Which I'm also like thinking as I'm saying this, it's funny because 2025 is a 9-year in numerology, which is all about like completing and ending cycles. So the fact you could be this energy of moving away, because it may again not be literal for all of you, but this energy of moving to the countryside as an example kind of makes sense, I'm not gonna lie. Another thing, Seven of Pentacles, I'm just getting this energy of family, creating a life as a strong foundation, perhaps for the next generation too. That may be something coming through this year. If you've been thinking about it, if you know that there is already a due date, I generally feel this coming through. It's funny because for you, number 3, I'm realizing that it feels like almost like some predictions for the upcoming years, for the upcoming year. But there's definitely this energy of just perhaps for some of you, like creating a new stable foundation, a new life, a new home for a family, starting a family. That is something up in the air for those who've been meaning it. That's definitely here. So that is something very excited to look forward to. The Six of Cups, it's funny, it feels like someone just kind of a rebirth energy of like someone just coming back to their roots, as we've been discussing, and just enjoying being themselves and enjoying doing things that they used to do when they were kids. Perhaps, I don't know, like if someone grew up in the countryside, they moved to the city, and now they decide to go back to the countryside. Like someone, this idea of countryside is sticking, definitely. but yeah, like just being in this energy of enjoying something we used to, like sweet memories and old hobbies that we used to have, old things that we used to enjoy. There's here again the idea of family coming through. So it's just a very, very nice energy. I think it's hard to pull a few last cards. That is a beautiful, beautiful things that you're opening up to, honestly. But yeah, it genuinely feels like a prediction kind of reading for pile number 3. Like today, every pile had a completely different, unexpected reading. Yeah, a lot of excitement, a lot of new direction, a lot of traveling. Like these 3 cards have an imagery of forward movement, of like going places, moving on, realigning with who you are, just letting yourself fly and create the life that you want to live. And you know what? Fluff it. I'm gonna do it anyway, even if the people around are not happy with it. I don't care. It's for myself, it's not for anyone else. So a lot of movement, honestly, is going on. And I generally feel that, yeah, it's just, honestly, at this point, it's all yours to enjoy. I feel that you've been working hard for it. Somehow, this is coming through. It's like you've been making space in your life for this to happen. You made space in your life in the past because you felt it. You had no intention behind it particularly, as in you were just making space because it felt good. But I feel that you making space has opened up the room for all of this to happen, for you to realize the things about yourself, these new desires to emanate, and ultimately this new life to be birthed. So I'm just so happy for you, honestly. This is so good. Again, I'm realizing that, you know, me saying, oh yeah, it's gonna be some encouraging messages from spirit guides. Haha, screw you, Nova. Messages of which are going to come through are the ones that need to come through, not the ones you would like. Okay, I've learned my lesson. It's okay. Thank you so much for having shared space with me today. That was an awesome reading. I'm not gonna lie, so out of the blue, so unexpected. But yeah, it's like so beautiful too. It's like you're moving places, even if it's not physically. I feel for most of you it's gonna be physically though. So yeah, get ready, get prepared, put everything you need to in your luggages because you might need your luggage sooner than expected. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, please let me know down in the comments if you how it went for you, if it resonated. I love to read about your thoughts. I love to be connecting with you as always. Also, if you would like the video and subscribe if you enjoy this content, that would support me a lot. And yeah, honestly, enjoy it all. I'm gonna be seeing you in my next video. Till then, enjoy, have fun, get prepared, and yeah, Happy New Year. Bye.